Welcome to Belahdan. As you can see, we're having a great time here because we are celebrating our 10th anniversary, it's a milestone. And the founder of the show, we've been looking for those people. The very founder that he really helped us a great deal in the beginning is our guest today, Medhet Ghonim. Now he is working in Medtronic. He has more kids, has more jobs, has more things to do. I have not seen him for years. I've invited him today to celebrate with us. This is a special evening. Welcome to Belahdan, Medhet. Haven't seen you, haven't met you for quite some time. You were kind enough to come and help us in this infant stage. And so tell me a little bit about what you remember about this old years at the time when you were helping us and producing the first Arab American show in the Midwest.
Yeah, I remember being part of a very small community back then. People were dying to watch an Arabic show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the language, Arabic.
Yeah, and you came along, and I think you started out by having a radio show, and that was also your first guest on that show, and people were calling us up and asking us, well, when are you going to be on? And
yeah, you're right.
And you used to sell a special radio, if you remember, and that was the only way to listen to that show. Not anybody. You have to have the radio.
It's like Belahdan code.
Yes, you have to have a code to watch that show. So
there was good old days before 9/11, and we were having a great time.
I think we were. The image of Arab American has changed a lot since then.
Oh, yes.
There has been some awareness to our cause and what we're all about. People know that we're not all bad. It's like any other community.
There are a few good ones.
There is bad and good. and you have to take people based on face value.
Yeah, in the beginning, when before 9/11, when people see us on the show and tell them I'm an Arab or an Egyptian, I said, oh, Omar Sharif, you look like Omar Sharif. Yeah. Now when you tell them I'm an Egyptian or an Arab, you say, oh, Mullah Omar. Belahdan, it changed a lot.
It has, and we cannot really generalize about our image here. And it's like being anywhere. Different people have different images about different people, and there is good and bad everywhere, wherever you go.
And that was one of the main purpose we had the show, and we have this show. That
to create awareness.
And also the diversity of the community and people from different backgrounds and all that. So you tell us a little bit about what changes have made in the last 10 years?
Well, I still live in the same house. That hasn't changed.
That's a good thing. A lot of people lost their houses.
Right, yeah. So I'm lucky. I'm thankful.
You're okay.
As you can tell, I've gained a few pounds.
That's good
I
too.
don't have as much hair.
So you eat.
But I eat, I have enough to eat.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I still work for Medtronic. I'm thankful to be with them. I've been with them for 15 years.
Wonderful. It's a good company.
It's a good company. And now I have another kid. I have 3 daughters.
Oh, wow.
And
the 3 sisters.
Besides, Sarah and
So we have 2 of your daughters on the show, 10 years ago, and we had them again today. So they change a lot and they grow up a lot.
That's right.
It's like the show itself.
Yes, and that was with the third one. I thought maybe I can have a boy, but then I ended up with another female.
It's your fault, by the way.
Then by the way, I went to get a cat. I thought, well, I told him to
go
get a cat. It ends up being a female too. So I don't know what it is, but
maybe you ask your daughter. She's studying genetic.
Yeah, Sarah has been interested in that field, and it's a good field, and maybe in the future, they can determine the sex of the baby, and I'm not sure how good that would be for the society, but at least it will give people some options to have a certain sex.
As you see, our show developed from radio, Arabic television, and then Arab, English, and we are now reaching a huge audience, diverse audience from all over the Muslim Arab Americans, and a lot of based on emails and Nielsen local rating. Most 60% of people who watch us non-Arabs.
Yeah.
So really, we expand to a non-Arab, the usual suspect, and so we reach a different audience.
And I think that is also a positive, if I could call it positive result of having 9/11.
Yeah.
People started questioning Arab Americans and what Arab Americans are all about. They got interested, not only in the Arab American community, but in the religion and the culture. So when they see us on the show, they want to know more about us.
Yeah.
And they want to hopefully to try to differentiate between us and what had happened during 9/11 and try to find out what we're all about.
Yeah.
And I think that will continue to go on.
Well, through history, wars is becoming a crash course in geography for Americans. Once we have a war on country, we go and find out a little bit more about it. I wish I just go study it without having a war. Just go study a country. But as you say, how about the community itself? You live in a community. What changes have done?
The community has changed a lot in the sense that the older people have moved on. They have either passed away or they have retired somewhere else, and the younger generation is the one that's taken over now.
Yeah.
And some of them have been keeping up with the tradition, and some are not. And another negative thing of 9/11 is that none of the younger generation want to be labeled as being an Arab American because there's
some people change their names.
Yeah, some people change their names, and they don't realize that that's one of the good things about this country is that people have not lost their identity.
Exactly. It doesn't matter when you change their name. You don't look like Andy.
Exactly. So it has more to do than changing your name. You are what you are, no matter how much you try to do.
And this is what America is all about.
Yeah, it's about diversity and being proud of who you are.
Exactly.
And without that, this country would not be where it is today.
Exactly. The first generation, when they came, they really want to be an Americans, to be honest with you. And they want to eat American food and get American job and speak English and all that. I think second and third generation now, they are looking back to their ancestor and heritage, and they are proud of it. And you know, it used to be being American means you know, not foreign accent and not looking you know, white, English, whatever. But now being American, it's multicultural and very diverse.
Yeah, there is more awareness now of other cultures, and the whole demography of this country is changing from the time when I came back in the late 70s.
Sure.
I mean, I was the only Egyptian on campus.
Wow.
But now, where I went to school at the University of Wisconsin, but now you go to campuses, there is a lot of diversity.
There's a community there.
So
for everybody.
Yes.
And look who's running, who might even win the you know, presidential election.
Yeah.
You know, multicultural.
With a Muslim father and a Christian mother, and who's been raised as African American.
From Africa.
He was raised in Indonesia.
My goodness.
So,
so it's a global citizen.
It is, and and that also tells you a lot about how this country is changing and what's going to happen. They say in another 20 years there will be no such one race person. It will be more of a mixed society.
Exactly.
More like Brazil or other countries. I think,
more
which
like
is okay. Step in the right direction.
Very cracker kind of.
Yeah.
Well, that's very wonderful that you know, you give us some time today, as you give us time 10 years ago. It's
my pleasure.
Very fine young man, and I think. You know, you are one of the, you know, the example of a success story in Arab American and Egyptian American, and we appreciate you coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
We'll have a short break. We'll come back with Assam. Assalamu alaikum, and God bless you all.